Okay, well, we did a few things on the Coffin car today. I only had a few hours in here today, not much more than that. So what I did was I transferred, I finalized my paper templates. I transferred them to the stainless, to the steel, to the sheet metal that came yesterday. So I got everything traced out from my templates to the metal. I didn't get a chance to cut them today because I just wasn't ready to do so. I'm waiting on some blades that I need, so this way it's a nice clean cut, and I can at that point take this here, and I'll take the camera off in a minute. I'll take this one here and I can roll it through the roller. I just got to set the roller up. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use the roller on the ground for now because I just don't have the time to wait for a stand and all that, and plus the room is, the room's just not happening right now. I also got the firewall right here, so we'll be cutting that out also. And I put together my axles, I put the bearings and the seals, everything on there. And I put one axle in so I can measure my, for the rims there, the back set, to make sure I had enough room here. So I'm probably going to go with probably like a 5-inch back-spaced rim. I think that would be fine. Because I do want to put a fat tire on there. We're going to try to get close to maybe a 12-inch wide tire, just to fatten up the back a little bit. And the front, I should dig out the wheels for that for next week. I'll have those out, and I'll get them together. I'll mock them up onto the car, so this way we can see how it looks. What else did I do? Really, that was pretty much all I did. Also, a lot of my time got tied up yesterday. I actually picked up a couple of boring bars, which I'll show you. A 944 Van Norman, 944S, and a 777S Van Norman. They're in decent shape. They're just a little dirty or whatever from sitting around where I got them from. And originally, those were owned by a buddy of mine that unfortunately is not with us anymore. And I believe the 777 was the one he used to bore out the block for this Chevelle many years ago, back in the very, it was mid-70s, I believe. I bought the car in 75, so it was probably 77, 78 that I actually punched out the 454 30 over. And pretty sure that boring bar did it, so it's kind of it has a lot of meanings for me, that boring bar. It's something that worked on my car many years ago. It was a good friend of mine's, and also I actually got it from one of his proteges, which also is a good friend of mine. And the deal was good. I had to just free up the locking mechanism for the drive gear on the 777. I plugged it in, it works, goes down, no problem. I do got to do a little cleanup on them, but you'll see when I pop the camera off. And also another little project that's going to be happening between now and next week is the bender. If you remember, I did a hydraulic conversion on it, and I was trying to think, how do I want to mount this thing so it's portable? Maybe I could adjust it, whatever. So I finally figured, let me get a transmission jack, the type that you would use under a lift. And this way, it'll start out at just approximately the 3-foot mark, maybe a little less. And I could jack it to where I need it, so that should work out well. So this way, if I need to bend and there's stuff that I need to go over, and I could raise it up, and I could get past the obstructions, because again, very tight in here. It's going to start loosening up, but probably not until we get warm weather, because I don't want to start opening doors. I don't want to get because this heater really doesn't kick on. I have radiant heat, and it stays very comfortable in here. 65 degrees, I mean, literally feels like 100 degrees in here. So that's why you see me in a t-shirt. I'm very comfortable in here. It's dry. It's just right. It's perfect. And I have a set of 65. And I think the whole time I've been in here today, I want to say that the heat kicked on maybe once, if that. So, the radiant heat is excellent. I'm so happy I did it. And hopefully it's going to last my lifetime, at least. It should. It's all PEX tubing, so everything should work out well. So that was about it. So transfer my drawings. I played with the boring bars, cleaning them up and figuring out what I need. I ordered a kit for the 777, the tool kit. I found the vintage original. I purchased it. And I also purchased a handle because there was no handle on this one. And what else? The 944S, I didn't purchase anything for it, but that one also works. And this way, you kind of need both because the 777 is more for the bigger cylinders. I believe it'll go close to 5 inches, and the 944 is nice for the smaller stuff. So if I need to punch out, say, a cylinder on one of the Harleys, I believe that that would the 944 would be more, you know, equipped to actually do something like that. A couple of other things that I'm thinking of is to maybe purchase a table for one of them, probably the 944, and this way I could actually set up a jig to do the blocks. And I'm kind of playing with all kinds of ideas because, again, you know, I got all these ideas that require room, and if I was in my shop, you know, my real shop where I do my truck work, yeah, I got room. Here, I'm limited, and I can't really split my work between here and my shop, even though it's only 5 miles away. It's still a production. It's just easier to get all your work done efficiently, calmly, and, you know, just have a good day by doing everything here. So, you know, that's, you know, I'm gearing towards getting equipped, but I do need the warmer weather to be able to kind of get everything out of here and really start organizing my shelves up against the wall there, you know, so on and so forth. So, and everything's on wheels, so I can move stuff around. The Chevelle, for the most part, like I said, is done. I just got to finish up some interior stuff. And I'm going to try to get to that before springtime. I have no deadlines for anything, so, you know, it is what it is. When I get to it, I get to it. But I didn't want to just keep, you know, working on the Chevelle forever, and I wanted to get a new project into the videos. As soon as we get this one pretty much buttoned up, this one really was a ground zero build. It started at ground zero, and, you know, we're getting to what, you know, we're getting to where we want to be, but everything is time consuming. Time is commodity for me. I don't have time. So once we get this one to a certain stage, then I can make a decision of maybe bringing the coupe in here or the 67 Camaro, and I could just kind of swap. Put this one where either one of those cars are, and then bring that one in here and, you know, go to town on that. So for the coupe and the Camaro, we're going to need room, so the Chevelle may end up going into the trailer. Don't know yet. These are all things that need to be done in warmer weather. Dry weather, of course. I don't like any of my cars to be rained on, snowed on. I don't like that. So anyway, let's get this camera off. Let's just look at these few things that I did. And again, you know, I just want to keep a weekly record going on of what I'm doing, even though if it's just a couple things, I still want to, you know, give you guys a video. Okay, like I always tell you, I am not a cameraman. So let's take a little walk here, try not to make you dizzy. But so basically, those are my paper templates, one on top of the other there. But so basically, I just very simply drew it out on here. Once I get it cut out, I'm going to go ahead and use my 3-in-1 here to roll it and start fitting it. And here's the firewall. There was a lot of contour in the Coffin, so you can see all the curves and all kinds of crazy things here. See if I can step back and give you a good picture of the whole thing, the whole shot. And this sheet metal is 20 gauge, and it's probably the perfect consistency. I mean, it's just right. One thing that I wish I could do, but I don't have one, and eventually I will be getting one, is a roller. It would be nice to, you know, to put some marks in there to strengthen up the metal, but I think we'll be okay because I still have to shrink a ring. Once I get that curved and I fit it, then I'm going to shrink a ring around it. I'm going to take a piece of aluminum angle or steel angle, nothing real thick, probably 20 gauge or maybe 18 gauge, and we'll shrink it to create a circle, or actually stretch it. We're going to be stretching it, and we'll create the the half circle to cover the transmission, but also we're going to use that to mate up to the firewall, so everything starts to become one. And again, there's our firewall. So we got a couple of challenges here because again, I got to make sure that when I take the coffin off, if I need to for any reason, that all this stuff is independent. In other words, integral to the coffin, but not connected to the frame. And if it is connected to the frame, it has to be a bolt type connection. So this way I can take the bolt out and raise the coffin, because it's going to be hard to work on that motor. I mean, even changing the spark plug is going to be a nightmare. Might be able to do it from underneath. I didn't really investigate all that yet. And, basically, coffin and nightmare, I guess they go together. So let's take a look at a few other things here. Let's take a look at the boring bars. So they look a little grimy. I mean, they've been sitting for a while, but everything moves. I got everything kind of lubricated, and everything started moving good. And I just got to polish up the shafts. They just got some surface rust on them, nothing serious. But that's the 777 right there. And it's the 777S. Van Norman, another Van Norman. This is a 944S. And I got to change that cord though, because it's only a 2-prong cord, and I don't really want to get zapped if I end up using it. And I probably will use it. I do have a couple of 454 blocks. I have my original block that came out of the Chevelle. That was originally bored out with that bar. And I know it was because I kind of walked in when he was doing it, and I remember that red bar on there, and that was the only red bar he had besides the 944. And my other buddy that took over the shop once Mike passed, he has, I believe he has Quickways. And these kind of just, he used these, I know he used these, but they just kind of sat at that point, and he had the Quickways, which I believe they were Quickways, and he used those mostly. He just had, he just had the opportunity to buy newer ones, so that was what was available, that's what he bought. But in my opinion, I believe the Van Norman is the most accurate bar. It's got a real heavy shaft, as you can see. Even the 944 has a pretty good thick shaft. And, and these bars are old. I wouldn't be surprised if these are from the 30s, 40s, 50s, who knows. I'm trying to figure out how can I tell the year of the bar. I know I got serial numbers. I don't know if there's a database that'll give me an idea of the year range, but here it is. Here they are, I should say. Also, I used the press today to do the axles, and yep, I got the axle. I tapped it in, so this way it's fully seated. I took my measurement at like 5.5, which is it'll leave me plenty of room. I think I could go probably 8 or 9 inches, but there would be no reason for that. So I think if I do a 5-inch backspace, or even a 5.5, and then put the rest out this way, I could get that 12-inch tire that I'm looking for. And prior to doing all that, I'm going to probably create some type of a mock-up for a tire, so I can at least look at it, because I want it to be visually pleasing, but I also want to make sure it's correct and we're not hanging too far out and starting to put all kinds of stress on the bearings. Even though we're not going to really be going all over the world with this, and I could probably get away with a little stress on the bearings, probably wouldn't matter, but I really don't want to do that. And then the debate is going to start about, the fuel tank. Do I mount the fuel tank back here up high, like a keg style tank, or do I try to fit it in the front? I don't really have room in the front, so it's going to go up high here. And it's a little uncomfortable for me to do the tank here, because if you get rear-ended, it's a very serious problem, because the tank would be there, you would be there. So, something that gets a little scary at times, but we'll address this as we go along. And again, for safety reasons, I may actually wear a fire suit. You never know. I know it sounds like, oh my God, he's paranoid. No, but I've seen Unfortunately, I've seen things that I wish I never saw, and it does make you think, you know, not even outside the box. It makes you think in reality, you know, what can happen, and it just takes 1 second or less for it to happen. So, again, if I'm going to drive this around, it's got to be safe. That's why we're going to do our little roll cage and everything. Also, as I said before, it has to be coffin removable and easy. I don't want it to be a big project to remove the coffin. The most I want to deal with is dropping the steering shaft, and I believe that's it. And disconnecting the transmission cable, rod, whatever it's going to end up being. Most likely a cable, and everything else. You know, just zip with a couple of nuts and bolts, or if I have captured nuts on there, which is most likely what I'm going to end up with. This way, that coffin technically will be able to be raised straight up by, you know, say 4 guys, or in this case, it's a coffin, let's use 6 and make it official. And we can raise it straight up, get it out of the way, do our work, move it back in, line it up, zap it back in. And this way, you know, there's some thought behind what we're doing, not just, you know, throwing it together and it's like, oh man, should have thought of this before. I'm going to try to think all these things prior. Are we going to miss stuff? Of course we are. Nobody's perfect. And if you think you are, you got serious problems. So, again, there's the Chevelle. I don't want anyone to forget about the Chevelle. We still got stuff to do. I know I got the blanket on there, and I got a few things on top of it. But, you know, nothing heavy. It's just a box of paper, you know, the cardboard that I'm using, or not the cardboard, the poster board that I'm using for templates. And there's Henry back there. Look at him. He's just hanging around, doing nothing. You know, one day, this becomes another day. Another night becomes another night. And the bum just sits there and never helps. Every once in a while, he'll lift a bone to help. But usually, you know, nothing. So I got plenty of bones to pick with him. And that's about it. So we talked about the boring bars. We went over the templates and all that wonderful stuff. And, you know, the templates, once I cut them, I'm going to have to, you know, massage them a little to make them fit the right way. I made everything just a touch bigger, not a lot, just a tiny, tiny bit, like a pen line bigger. So this way I could actually, you know, file everything and fit it properly. And we got our metal from onlinemetals.com. And it was inexpensive, even with the shipping, was very reasonable, and the quality, it's always perfect. It comes boxed properly, they protect it so that it can't get bent up and beat up in shipping. I can't say enough for them, and it's quality steel, quality aluminum, quality everything. You know, they do a great job, and you can buy small quantities without being punished that, you know, it's got to be cut up, or you're not buying a whole full sheet. You know, our local guys, you got to buy like $250 worth, or they won't deliver it, and it has to be, you know, all these sheets, and by the time you're done, it's just a waste because it's going to get put in a pile. It's either going to rust, or it's just going to sit in that pile for a lifetime. Like at my main shop, I got a lifetime of steel there. You know, it's just it's crazy. I like to purchase what I need, maybe a touch more, not a lot, a little tiny bit more, because storage, again, is an issue everywhere. But I just hate to waste material because, you know, you waste material, you're wasting money. Even though sometimes it's just a nickel and dime thing, I hate to waste. So let's get this back on and let's finish up. And of course, I didn't say Happy New Year. Happy New Year. The last time that we spoke was last year. So, anyway, so that's all I got done today. It was mostly all done today. The bars, I worked a little bit on them last night when I got home. I bought them right here in town, so I didn't travel to buy them. But once I got them home, I had to have my son help me get them in here. They were way too heavy for me. You know, it's just, I can pick them up, and I could have dragged them in here. But, you know, my son is 3 times my size, and he picked those up like, you know, like I'm picking up this piece of paper right now. So it was just easier for him to get them in here. Once I got them in here, I got them on the little dolly there. I worked them into the corner and started cleaning them up, plugged them in, and just started kind of feeling my way through things. I do have to, like I said, polish up the shafts, which I really want to get them on top of this table so I can work a little easier on them. But they are heavy, and I believe the table will hold it. It's a steel frame table. So I just don't want to take a chance to ruin the table. Because right now I have the bender on there. Once the transmission jack comes, which I think it's coming Monday, once it arrives, then I can go ahead and start creating the mount, which is actually it's already been provided to me. I know I'm off camera, but when I got the Swag Off-Road kit to convert it to hydraulic, they also give you this mounting bracket, and these two holes here is where the actual unit mounts, and then this here is wherever you want to mount it or whatever. But what I'm going to need to do here, because of the way the transmission jack is done, I'm going to have to actually weld a pipe on here. So I'm probably going to have to fill this first and then weld my pipe. And I just got to figure out the depth of the pipe and all that, and I want to make sure it's going to be somewhat tight going on there, so there's no play. And that's my only concern is, am I going to end up with a bunch of play because of the weight of the item, and it's going to be on just a jack, basically a piston jack. I don't have one here to show you at the moment, but I'm sure it's not a gigantic, probably 1 inch at most. And once I mount it, I want it to be somewhat sturdy, so we may have to come up with some bracing ideas, but I do want it to be removable, so I could still use it as a transmission stand or a gas tank stand, when I'm working, because I do have lifts here. And look, I'm looking there and I noticed that you can't see me. Let me go over here. You can't, well, you can see me, but you can't see my face. I was too close. So I want to make sure I don't take the training jack and make it, only for this. I want to be able to use it, as it is, a transmission jack or a gas tank jack. Because like I said, I have a lift in the back corner here, which is a single post. I have 2 4-post lifts in my house garage. And the only reason I didn't get another lift here, 4-post, I did have a 4-post in here, but I moved it to the garage, is again, room. If you got to slide under the car or whatever when you're building, it's too hard to use a 4-post or even a 2-post lift or even a 1-post lift. You want to be able to slide around on the ground and get things done, so you're kind of like top, bottom, whatever, sideways. But it's easier on the ground when you're building. At least in my opinion, it is. To go up and down with a jack, with a lift. I don't know, sometimes this becomes a waste of time. It's just easier to set these up like on the quick lifts that I had from Benpack. And I just quick lifted it up, gave me more than enough room. I got the tranny in, it was simple. I literally picked the tranny up and slid it in, caught 2 bolts, and that was that. And for the most part, the quick jacks was all I needed to get this Chevelle build done. And as you can see here, I believe the single post lift would have been cool for this, but again, it takes a lot of room. The stacker was beautiful for this. I can walk around the stacker, it's taking up no room. It can lift what I'm doing, So I just try to find my own way of doing things that make me efficient. I don't mind, getting on a creeper and going underneath, or throwing a piece of cardboard under there and going underneath. I do that every day anyway. I do that in the middle of the highway when I'm working on an emergency to get a truck going. So, nothing new with diving under a vehicle. But, to me, this is the way I like to work. As you saw before, when I was doing all the suspension stuff and the welding, and I was fitting everything and measuring, I had it up higher on the horses, which was, fantastic. It was so easy to work that way. But anyway, guys, so I think I showed you everything. We talked about the tire, how I want to make that nice and wide in the gas tank. And I got to get the sheet metal done, so hopefully I can get this machine. There's not much to set up. I just got to really just get the handles on there for what I got to do. And I can work right on the stand that it's on for now. I'm just going to have to turn it so I can get to it. And I'll do some rolling, fitting. Once it fits good, I do need to do the firewall first. This must be done first. I got to get that, tap it in, and I had, like I said, I got some bracket ideas because I don't want to, I can't weld to the casket because I'm going to pop the paint. We don't want to do that. Even if I keep the welder light and just do a couple of quick shots, it's going to burn right through. Again, it's only 20 gauge. So, you know, I'll come up with an idea for that. I already think I did with the bracket. We talked about that last week too. And once that firewall, for the most part, is set, that will make the rest of this project, well, you know, splitting the cab and engine compartment, it'll make the rest of this project fairly easy, including keeping the heat out. What I'll do is I'm going to put an angle iron that's going to give me the room that I need for a gasket. I already have a gasket, however, I'm going to use most likely an insulated type gasket. I'll create a gasket for that, like you would see in a fireplace or something. But not a rope gasket, but something similar. So this way I'll keep the heat out and I'll keep the fumes out. You know, I'm trying to make this whole compartment area its own area. I'm also kind of tempted, but I don't think I will because it should get downflow. I was tempted to put in a couple of almost like an exhaust on each side and kind of make it a little fancy and make it look cool, and just have so when the air enters it kind of blows past the motor and out. But I think I'm going to skip on that now, and if I feel that I need it, I can always go back in to do that. That's not a big deal. And that's it, guys. So again, thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe, like, you know, comment good or bad. If you have any ideas or whatever, just tell me. Tell me, you know, you look at it, and if you have an idea, I'd be more than happy to listen. And I got to kind of scooch down here a little bit. But anyway, we'll see you next week. And again, thank you for watching.